Last year, American shoppers put about $12.5 trillion on their cards. $198 billion of that never reached the stores they were shopping in. Most people assume that gap is just the cost of running the machine. A few pennies for the wires, the terminal, the fraud team. It isn't. That money is a budget. And depending on which card is in your pocket, you are either receiving it or quietly paying into it. And then there's the exact same swipe on the exact same network costs about 1/8 as much in Europe. Same companies, same plastic. Once you know why, you will never look at a price tag the same way again. Ask almost anyone where credit card rewards come from, and you'll get the same answer. The bank pays for them. You spend, the bank hands you 2% back or a pile of airline miles, and the bank makes its money on the unlucky people who carry a balance and get hit with interest. Generous bank, foolish borrowers, free money for you. That story isn't slightly wrong. It's backwards. Here is what actually happens in the 2 seconds after you tap your card. Doesn't talk to the store. It talks to four parties at once. There's you. There's the merchant's payment processor, and there's the bank that issued your card. When the dust settles, the store does not receive the number printed on the tag. It receives that number minus a cut, and that cut has a name. Interchange. Interchange is the fee. The store side of the transaction pays to your bank just for the privilege of accepting your card, and it is not small. In the year just ended, the average interchange rate on a Visa or MasterCard credit purchase in the United States was 2.36%. Add the network's own assessment and the processor's markup on top, and a typical store hands over somewhere between 2 and 3.5 cents of every dollar you spend. So on a $100 grocery run, the grocer sees about $97, sometimes less. Now here's the piece that makes it your problem. The store posts one price, one. It does not print a cash price and a card price and a fancy travel card price on the shelf. It works out what accepting cards cost it across everything it sells, and it builds that into the tag. Which means the swipe fee isn't charged to card users, it's charged to the shelf. Everybody pays it, the retiree counting out bills, the teenager on a debit card, and the guy behind them earning double points on a metal card. He'll redeem for a flight to Lisbon. Same price. Very different outcome. And that gives us a genuinely strange question. If this fee is really the cost of moving data between two computers, it should be falling. Computers got unbelievably cheaper over the last 15 years. Fraud detection got better, volume went up enormously, and in almost every business, volume drives unit costs down. It went the other way. By 2010, the average American credit card interchange rate was about 2.02%. Today, it's 2.36. The total bill American merchants paid for accepting cards was $62 billion in 2009. Last year, it was $198 billion, more than tripled. So what is that money buying if not cheaper technology? Follow where it lands. Interchange is the biggest slice of the fee, usually somewhere between 70 and 90% of the total, and it does not go to Visa. It goes to the bank that issued your card, and that bank has one job with it: cover fraud, cover the credit risk, and fund the rewards program that convinced you to carry that card instead of a rival's. Which is why the fee scales with the card. A basic no-frills card costs a merchant less to accept. A premium rewards card, the one with the lounge access and the sign-up bonus, costs more. The lounge is not a gift from the bank, it's a line item, and the store paid for it, and the store put it in the price. Now, for the part that proves this isn't just how payments have to work. Because there is a control group in 2015, the European Union passed a regulation that capped interchange at 0.3% for credit cards and 0.2 for debit, same Visa. Same MasterCard, same chips, same terminals, same fraud, same continent's worth of shoppers. It has been in force for over a decade and it's still in force today. Europeans swipe at roughly 1/8 the American rate, and their card networks did not collapse. What changed instead is the rewards. European cards are boring. There is no cashback arms race because there's no longer a fee pool to fund one. The two systems ran the same technology and diverged on one decision, and you can read that decision in both directions. American cardholders get the best rewards in the world. American shoppers pay for them at the register, whether they hold one of those cards or not. If you like having this stuff taken apart for you, that's the entire channel. One everyday thing every week, and the effect is measurable. Economists at the Federal Reserve Board studied who actually comes out ahead in the credit card market, and estimated that roughly $15 billion a year moves, in their words, from less to more educated and from poorer to richer households. That's the transfer inside the card market itself. It sits on top of the one at the register. So, what does this actually cost you, and what can you do about it? If you carry a good rewards card, pay it off every month, and put everything on it, you are on the winning side of this. Genuinely. 2% back on a system where the price already includes a 2.5% fee is a decent deal, and you should take it. If you don't, you are paying the same shelf price and receiving none of it. And the people most likely to be in that group are the people paying cash, using a basic debit card, or carrying a balance. That's the quiet part. Here's how to actually see it. Now that you know it's there. Look at gas stations. A lot of them post two prices, one for cash and one for credit, and that difference is the swipe fee made visible. It's the same reason your corner deli has a handwritten $10 minimum sign taped to the register. On a $4 coffee, the fixed portion of that fee eats the whole margin. Watch your receipts too. In most states, a merchant can now add a line for a credit card surcharge, and it has to be disclosed. Debit is different. Surcharging debit cards is prohibited nationwide. And a cash discount, offering a lower price for paying in cash, is legal in all 50 states, which is why you see the two price sign much more often than a surcharge line. Something is also shifting, slowly. In June of this year, a federal judge gave preliminary approval to a revised settlement between merchants and the card networks, which would trim rates by a tenth of a percentage point for 5 years and cap standard consumer cards at 1.25% for 8. It's not final. Big retail groups object that it doesn't go far enough and have said they'll appeal. So treat it as a thing in motion, not a thing that's done. But the direction is worth knowing because it's the first real movement on a case that was filed back in 2005. None of this makes cards a scam. They're fast, they're safe, the fraud protection is real, and for most people, the convenience is genuinely worth having. This isn't a story about a villain. It's a story about a cost that got moved somewhere you can't see it and then stopped being discussed. So the next time you're standing in front of a price tag, understand what you're actually reading. It isn't the cost of the thing, it's the cost of the thing, plus the cost of every way the store has agreed to let you pay for it, averaged across every single customer and printed as one number. The rewards were never free. They were just billed to whoever was standing in the same line without them. There's a new one of these every week. One ordinary thing, taken apart until it finally makes sense. Subscribe if that's the sort of thing you'd like turning up in your feed, and there is a natural sequel to this one. All that interchange money has to land somewhere, and a startling share of it ends up buying airline miles by the billion. Delta made more from Amex than from flying. You picks the story up at the exact moment this one stops, which is the moment your bank writes the check.